I don't know what just happened. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Hi. Well, happy Thursday. Welcome to the TRIBEvibe meditation series. This week we're concluding our discussion about gratitude. Today we'll be talking about how to practice gratitude. So tips and tricks on how to practice gratitude. So yesterday we talked about, some of the benefits of gratitude. On Tuesday, I gave you some examples of what it looks like for gratitude, like for me specifically. So I hope that by the time we get to today, you have had some time to really think about what different things can you bring in and pull on while we're talking today. And if not, that's okay, because we're going to go through quite a few different things and you can figure out some different ways for you to practice some of these steps while we're talking about it, because I think most of them are fairly relatable, so you shouldn't have a hard time. So, all right, you guys ready to get into it? And before we start, you know what I gotta say? I gotta say, go click the share button. That's my PSA every time. And yesterday I said, I'm gonna remember to tell them something when we first start talking. And I was like, you should write it down. And I was like, you don't gotta write it down, sis. You gonna remember. Y'all know I don't remember. So maybe it'll come to me later. So I had to say that out loud so maybe I could jog my memory. But then also I want to make sure that I tell you guys, reminder on finding the accountability partner. I want you to tag them if you've already found one. Tag them so we can make sure that they get on here. And then also, my brain is just not working today. What else was I supposed to be telling y'all? I don't know. But I don't know if you noticed, I finally put some more of my artwork up today. So I got my beautiful painting that I had done by a local artist in Indianapolis. And it says Nicole T on there. If you guys know whose art this is, please tag her, because it's absolutely amazing and I love everything about it. And then, got some other little things up. She leaves a little sparkle wherever she goes. Okay, why not? But anyway, so I got a few more things to the background today, so I hope y'all are enjoying it. I think this is going to be about it. I ain't going to add too much other crazy stuff. But anyway, all right, y'all ready to get into it? Okay, let's talk about some gratitude techniques. All right? Okay. So the very first thing we're going to talk about is probably the one you hear people say the most often, and it makes the most sense, and you're like, I'm about to start doing that, and then you don't do it. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only one to be like, I'm about to start doing that, and then don't do it. Journaling. It ain't nothing complicated. Like I said, this is probably the thing you hear like all of the greats, whenever Oprah gets interviewing anybody and she asks them what is one of their keys or tips to success for other people, and they be like, start a journal, and you be like, it just makes so much sense. And I literally just heard somebody reinforce this the other day, and he was saying that he journals everything because he wants to be able to pass down like his story top to bottom to his kids. And he was like, so that they can repeat the things that I did well, avoid some of the mistakes that I made. Now granted, I don't know if y'all think back to when y'all was kids, or if you have kids now and you can, think about it in those aspects, but I don't know how much they're going to read, so he might need to consolidate the journal. If he's journaling every day, he might need to consolidate that into some memes for the kids, because I don't know if their attention span going to hold them for the whole life's worth of journals. But needless to say, it's interesting. And then at some point, if you become famous or whatever, you might be able to sell the journals to somebody, write a book. See? Okay. Anyway, that is not about gratitude. Let's go back. Okay, I went down a rabbit hole on accident. Journaling. Practicing journaling in the form of gratitude is really more to remind yourself, reinforce the gratitude that you've noticed throughout the day. So you don't have to do it every day. If it's something big, maybe you could even pick like one day a week to kind of just think of, go over some of the things that have happened during the past week and write them down. But it's really just a reinforcement tool. It's, I know we talked about, what week was that? I can't remember what week that was. That we were talking about changing your habits, and about putting things like in the way of you walking physically. So I was talking about like putting stuff in front of the door that I need to take outside to the car, or things I need to return or whatever, if I'm trying to take something to work or whatever. And I put it in front of the door because I know I need it to go out the door, and I cannot to walk out the door if it's in front of the door. So this is kind of one of those tricks we was calling them booby traps. One of those booby traps is set for yourself. So if you make a practice of sitting down once a week and reflecting on the week's events and thinking like, what things was I grateful for? What things could I have practiced more gratitude in? XYZ. It's just reinforcement, and it's just an easy way to make you do it. Okay, something simple. There are some things I can help you. So if you don't want to just kind of just free write, which is one of the journaling techniques, and we may have a week on some of that stuff, like journaling techniques and things of that nature. I'll put it on a list. But if you don't want to just free write where you just kind of sit there and think about what comes to your head, if you want more structure, I got some questions for you that you can ask yourself. So one of them is, what have I received? So that's a good place to start. And it's not like, it can be anything. I was going to say it's not like monetary, but I mean, even if you received your paycheck from your job, that is a moment for you to practice gratitude. It's not like you just like, oh my God, like, at the feet of the person and be like, oh, I just need this money. It's not really like groveling or anything like that. It's just an opportunity to think about something as simple as you getting your paycheck is not guaranteed. And so when you do get the paycheck, it's a moment for you to practice gratitude, right? You could put it gratitude really almost anywhere you want to in your life. It's just making a practice of it makes you become more aware of different things, and it makes you operate a little differently because you see in the world from a different perspective because you have chosen to focus on a silver lining. That's what he's talking about yesterday. Another question you can ask yourself is, what have I given? So what have I received? And then you can ask, what have I given? And so same boat, different order. And then also, what can I do better? And so that's like, not saying like, woe is me type of what can I do better, but just maybe even thinking of something as simple as, later we'll talk about like, making sure you say that you're like practicing your gratitude by saying to your loved ones things that you're grateful for when they do it. And so this is kind of an opportunity for you to like kind of check, temperature check yourself on that. So like if you're journaling for the week and you're saying, okay, what things could I have done better? And then you're thinking back on the things that you're grateful for and that you're practicing gratitude about. And you say, oh, you know what? I didn't even tell that person, how grateful I was for that. So, that kind of thing. So what could I have done better? Don't be beating yourself up. Y'all know that ain't my thing. My stilo is celebrate yourself, not beat yourself up. So it's not an opportunity to beat yourself up. It's an opportunity to remind yourself of times that you could have practiced gratitude so that you can continue to move forward in your progression of your practice of gratitude. All right? Okay. Number 2. Tell others in the moment. And that's exactly what I was just saying. So just start to make a habit. So it's like when kids, I have a toddler, y'all know she ain't beating on the door today. But I have to teach her when I do something for her that she's supposed to say thank you, right? That's just not a given thing. And so somebody had to teach you manners. And not to say that, as an adult, you don't come into that understanding, but you just aren't born with the social cues, right? Because different cultures do different things. So, our specific social cues, and even within the same country. So, I get on here sometimes and I'll be like, all my non-African American folks, can you leave in the chat if y'all do that at your house? So, like, for black people, I'm gonna say it again, for black people, we got a thing about if you come in a room, this old school, I don't see people harping on this as much anymore, but it used to be a thing. If you come in a room, you need to speak. It's your responsibility when you came in a room to speak to everybody. So that's a social cue, social manner, right? Like social norms that we have taught each other. And so you have to teach yourself sometimes to practice the art of gratitude, because it's more than just saying thank you. It's really not, you don't got to sit down and deep dive to the point where everybody crying. That's not what I'm asking you to do. But to sit down with yourself and really be present, because that's what we're always talking about, is the best practice is to make sure that we remain present. And so to make sure that you're present and aware of all of the things that are going on. So you want to dig a little deeper than just when somebody does something for you saying thank you. Dig a little deeper. Get a couple more sentences out of the thank you. Thank you for XYZ. I appreciate you for XYZ, whatever. So telling them in the moment is a practice, because unless you've been with somebody who's practicing gratitude and has, taught you to do that, or you taught yourself, generally speaking, we don't go that extra step. We just do the normal platitude and then we keep it pushing. So I'm challenging you to take a step further, especially with the people that you love. You don't have to do this with random strangers all the time. You can, but especially with the people you love, because it is going to become a habit. Y'all know I'm about to say it. What does you do? First you practice it, it becomes a habit, then you master it. And so it's going to become a habit in your family dynamic, in your relationships with your friends and your significant other. It will become a habit, and then you'll find that both of you are doing this, and it's just going to be pouring in love and goodness into the relationship. Y'all know because sometimes tend to focus on the things that look cray. So this is a good opportunity for you to make sure you're pouring in some positivity. All right, simple. I told y'all these are simple today. So number 3, use your senses. Use your senses. Again, some of these are just hacks because we're already going through the day with ourselves. So we already have an opportunity to recognize when there are spaces that we can practice gratitude. We already have those opportunities, but it's not that we always are prepared for them or are able to recognize them. And so some of these are just, like I said, little traps or hacks for you to be able to make sure that you're implementing these things. So using your senses is something just simple. Like if you don't know where to start and you're out and you're like, you know what, I want to practice some gratitude right now and I don't know what to do because nobody's here talking to me. Nobody gave me anything. I didn't give anybody anything. You can fall back on this one and just use your senses. So are you smelling something pleasant? We talked about mindful eating a while back too. Are you eating something that's delicious? You could be grateful and practice some gratitude while you're eating on that delicious food. Are you listening to your favorite music? I told you yesterday that's one of my favorite ones is music, and I'm grateful for that. When I get an opportunity to do that, I really am grateful for it. So I'm using my senses of hearing, to practice gratitude because I love the way the music sounds and I love the way it makes me feel. And then always your eyes, and you could go into the sense of like feeling too, but we're just talking about the 5 main ones. But your eyes, you are always going to have an opportunity to see beauty in something, and the whole thing ain't got to be beautiful. We talked about this before. Sometimes situations are just ridiculously stressful. This is an opportunity for you to learn and practice how to find that little piece of joy. And so using your eyeballs, using your sense of sight is a really good and easy way for you to just, scan and find. Like, for instance, I'm sitting here right outside of my window. I have a row of trees. I'm not kidding, y'all. It's not like a few trees. It's a row. You can kind of see through it now. When it was winter, you can see through it a little better, but you almost can't see through it. It's that many trees. But they're beautiful. It's like pine trees, and squirrels and stuff be out there. As long as they outside, I ain't tripping. As long as they ain't in the house. But it's beautiful to look at. And so, like, yesterday it was raining. So I was looking out the window at the rain. It was an opportunity for me to just sit there and enjoy and practice gratitude and being able to look at something because I thought the rain was beautiful. Okay? Simple. I'm going to keep saying simple today, because I think these are really, really simple. And I think that, like I said earlier, you guys should be able to find something right now as we're talking that resonates with you. And I want you to take it on. And I want you for the rest of the weekend, for even this evening, let's do immediate so you don't forget. After we get off of here, while we're on here, while you're practicing your meditation, I want you to choose one of these techniques that we're talking about and do it. And let it stick. Y'all know we do the same meditation technique 3 days in a row because I want you guys to start getting a feel for it and I want to start becoming a practice. And so it's the exact same thing. Start today. Don't wait and try to keep doing it. Okay? All right. Next thing. Make a promise to yourself to practice. I am apparently ahead of myself on the card. I wrote the stuff on the card, so I know what it says, but I didn't memorize it. But apparently I'm all in a groove today, so I'm just flowing through them because what I just said is what I was saying on for the next one. So the next tip on how to practice gratitude is to make a practice or a promise to yourself, so that you can hold yourself accountable. Y'all know I get on here every single time and ask y'all, did y'all find your accountability partner? Sometimes you cannot count other people to be your accountability partner. Sometimes you have to be your accountability partner for yourself. And so making a promise to yourself to practice gratitude is major. Excuse me. And one of the simplest ways to do that and hold yourself accountable is to pick a time of the day. So either when you first wake up, on your drive to work, on your lunch break, when you first get home from work, when you go to sleep, pick whichever time works for you the best. But it's something that happens every day, or at least 5 days out of the week, if you're working. So pick something that happens very regularly and attach you practicing gratitude to that event, because it's always gonna happen. If you want to practice gratitude all day, every day, practice gratitude when you go to the bathroom. You can practice gratitude every time you go to the bathroom, okay? So to find some thing that you do regularly already. We talked about that too on one of the previous weeks about the life hacks and about attaching things that you want to implement to things that you already have going. So that's an easy way for you to make sure that you are holding yourself accountable for your promise to yourself to practice gratitude. And if you don't know why we're holding ourselves accountable for practicing gratitude, go look at yesterday's episode and listen to all the things that gratitude helps you do. And then you're going to understand why you need to hold yourself accountable for practicing gratitude, because it's a game changer. I'm not going to say there aren't many things. I don't get on here and talk to y'all in fluff. Like, I'm not really even trying to talk to y'all in sound bites or, things to go viral or anything like that. I'm telling y'all stuff that it took me 33 years of hard work, disappointment, running into walls, bumping my head, losing people, gaining people, whatever, losing myself, gaining myself, all of those things, right? It's taken me all of those things to get to this level of understanding about different stuff. So I'm only bringing y'all stuff that I really feel like are game changers. But this one I think is a really, really simple way to shift your perspective. And we're going to talk about that one week, because you don't talk to me very long before I'm going to say perspective is everything. I generally tend to throw that in there all the time because it is very true. And so we'll spend 1 week talking about perspective and things of that nature. But yeah, gratitude is a really simple way for you to start shifting the paradigm. And especially if you find yourself being too neutral or complacent, like we talked about yesterday, stuck. If you find yourself being a negative Nancy, a worrywart, living in guilt, living in the past, living in shame, whatever is plaguing you, if you ain't abundantly living in happiness, if you ain't all day, every day, the For Real I'm Happy song, if that ain't your life, which it ain't for most of us, that means you got some more opportunities that you could practice gratitude to shift that paradigm when you're somewhere else. And if you are happy all day, every day, then I'm sure you're probably practicing gratitude, because you really cannot exercise happiness without participating in gratitude. All right. Okay. So to the next one, I want you to be very intentional. Y'all know, if y'all watch any of these episodes, more than one of them, there will be times, I just took a pause for a second. There will be times where I take a pause or I correct myself about the words that I'm using. That has not always been my life. I have not always done that. I would say maybe 5 years or so ago, maybe it's kind of really when I started being like, words are intentions. And I'm speaking things over myself. I'm speaking things over my existence, and I'm speaking things over other people. I'm speaking those things over people and myself, right? And so, because they are very intentional and they mean something, I tend to be very careful. I pick and choose. It's so funny because my therapist one day, she was like, so you don't got a word for how you feeling right now? And then I had said something earlier in the conversation like, I don't know, I can't come up with a $5 word right now, like doppelganger or something like that. She's like, person that just said doppelganger, you gonna tell me you can't come up with a word for how you feel? So I tend to try to use a lot of my vocabulary when it comes to things, because I want to be very specific and intentional about the meaning of certain things, and really everything but certain things. I think, especially when you're having communication or misunderstanding or something like that with somebody you care about, you want to make sure that what you're trying to say is actually being heard. And so you need to be intentional with yourself first. Y'all know I done said this, and I'm gonna keep on saying it whenever we get around to the point. All of this work we're doing is for ourselves. It's not for other people. By osmosis, or like, you know, by proximity, other people will be affected by the work that we do. But the healing and self-care and wellness and all that stuff, like self-love and all that, that is about you. And it's unapologetically about you. And I'm not even going to give any reasons why, because it's unapologetically about you. And so if you haven't gotten to that point with yourself, I want you to sit down and take a little powwow with yourself and figure out why you can't do something for you. You can do things for other people. You expect other people to do things for you, but how come you can't do nothing for yourself? So one of the things I'm challenging you to do for yourself is to be intentional about the way you speak to yourself, about the language that you use. And so when we're practicing gratitude, like I said earlier, I want you to make sure that you take time to go beyond just the thank you of it, because then it's going to challenge you to really speak on what you're thanking the person for, what you're thankful for. And then also, like, you know, just some simple stuff. Like I said, changing and shifting the paradigm sometimes is not a big thing. It's not like you just flip a light switch all of a sudden and then everything's happy. Sometimes it's little things that you decide that you're going to add in to your life, to your everyday practice, to the way you approach this specific situation that's stressful. Sometimes it's just a small thing that you decide to add in that changes over time. And we talked about this the other day too, about things being like incremental changes, and that you have to continue to practice them over time. And then at some point it's like exponential growth. You know, it's a little gain, and then at some point the growth just shoots up in the air. And it's the same thing for almost everything we talk about. And this is one of the things too, being intentional about your language. Practice smiling. Like we talked about the other day, you can't be mad when you're watching a comedy movie. It's hard to be mad when you're smiling. And so just being able to smile at people, like, you know, saying to yourself, and I do this to myself sometimes because I have a tendency to be moving so fast when I'm walking or doing something. And sometimes I am just like, I don't want to say dismissive of people, but there are times where I just like don't take the time. Like if you've ever walked down the street and somebody says hi to you, and you be like, oh. And so that I keep trying to untrain myself from doing what I already is doing, and to practice more of that, because smiling at people, you just never know. Like giving off that good vibe to somebody else could change and shift what's going on in their day. And I'm gonna tell y'all what I did. I dropped a note card again today. I don't know what I've been doing. I'm talking with my hands to my chinny, and the thing be running away from me. Okay, I found it. It wasn't all up under the chair like it was last time. And then also, it's so funny. It's not funny, but it's so funny when I was writing these down, and they just came clear as day to me. My grandmother, when she wakes up in the morning, she will like just sit there for a second, and she'll just be like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And she will repeat things, and she'll be like, thank you, Lord, and things like that. And you know, it just, when I wrote down the word blessed, it made me think about her. And so, you know, just walking in that, walking in abundance, walking in gratitude, walking in intention, and you know, all of those things, integrity, like we talked about the other day, just walking in all those things are going to help to shift. So that's one of the good. Now this thing that had the nerve to go all the way this, because I was listening to it earlier. Hold on. Okay, had to turn my vibes back on. And then the last thing I want you to do is be creative. I have been challenging you. I don't know if I said all the syllables. I have been challenging you the last 2 sessions, and I'm going to challenge you again today, right now, to be creative about what you're grateful for. And not because I don't want you to be grateful for the things that are obvious, but because I want you to be aware that there are so many things that you can practice gratitude and can be grateful for that you are not aware of. And I know we talked about, was that Monday, I think we talked about Andy's example of the guy that came to talk to him, and he was grateful for drinking, like making coffee in the morning. He's like, this is my peace time. I like making the coffee. I feel centered and everything. That I'm sure there are so many different times in your life that you have an opportunity to practice gratitude and to be grateful for the things and to realize that they are making a difference in your happiness. that you're not aware of, that you're not presently aware of. You may continue to practice those things over and over again because subconsciously you're aware of them, but I want you to bring it to the top, right? Like I want you to bring it to your forethought and be intentional about your actions. So be creative. Think of some different things that you do that make you happy, and see if you can make sure that you practice the gratitude while you're doing them, and then also try to implement them things in your life some more, because honey, we get enough bad stuff. I don't know if I want to call it bad. We get enough stuff that's difficult and challenging and stressful. We need to make sure we're intentional about adding in some good stuff. Like I said earlier about pouring in the love to the situation, it's an opportunity for you to pour some love into your own personal situation. That's it. That's the post. That's all of the tips. Well, that ain't all of the tips. That's all the tips I wrote down for y'all. There are so many other ways that you can practice gratitude. So if you didn't find one that resonated, even though I have a hard time believing that, but that's my perspective. So your perspective may be different. If you didn't find something on this list that seems like a really easy thing that you could implement, Google ways to practice gratitude. I'm not even lying to you. A whole host of things is going to come up, and I'm sure you can find one in there. So, all right, I'm going to run them down for y'all one more time. All right. So, our different ways, tips and tricks to practice gratitude are journaling, telling people that you're grateful and practicing gratitude in the moment as soon as the thing happens, or as soon as not even just like an interaction with another person, but as soon as something happens that you're grateful for, say it out loud. Don't mind what the other people thinking. We talked about that another week. Don't mind what the other people thinking. Use all of your senses when you struggling to find a way to practice gratitude, or if you just know that you like to go on that nature walk and you want to make sure that you're practicing gratitude while you're out there on an expert level, use all of your senses to practice gratitude. Make a promise to yourself to practice. Hold yourself accountable so that you make sure that you implement these things on a regular basis. Put some stuff in your way. If you gotta remember, if you can't remember on your own to practice gratitude, put some stuff in your way. Put a reminder on your phone. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another way. Put a reminder on your phone. That's a really easy one. To do it every morning. Be intentional about your language, about your actions, because we want to make sure that when we're practicing gratitude, we get all of the oomph out of it. So the more intentional you are about your practice of gratitude, the more intentional you are about the language that you use when you're practicing gratitude, more intentional about the actions that you're using to practice gratitude or to give gratitude to somebody else, the better it's going to be. The more oomph you're going to get, more bang for your buck. And then the last one, be creative. Don't be out here in these streets talking about I'm grateful for being alive. I know you are. Because if you would, well, no, we're not going to go there. But challenge yourself to find something else. Don't let it be you're grateful for your life. You're grateful for your kids. You're grateful for your spirituality. If you're going to talk about those type of topics, I want you to dive a little deeper and tell me why you're grateful for them. Don't just say I'm grateful for my kids and leave it at that. Get some specifics in there if you're going to use some of the more obvious topics. Okay? All right. I hope I ain't stress y'all out, give y'all too much stuff to think about today. I don't feel like I did, but I hope I didn't. If I did, I apologize. Anyway. All right, my love. So, housekeeping before we start our meditation. I just want you to get somewhere comfortable. Sit down or lie down. I want your spine and your neck straight. Excuse me. I want you to limit your distractions. So, if you can limit them altogether. If you cannot, acknowledge the distraction. When it's happening, come back to the exercise. Make sure that you understand that you cannot do meditation wrong. You're here. That's all I needed you to do. So you're doing everything right because you're here. So don't get in there feeling all awkward and stuff. It's going to happen until it doesn't happen. Just fight through it. Okay. All right. I got faith in you. I know you can do it. You skronk. And if you haven't hit the share button yet, take your finger, hit the share button. All right. And I'm up here telling y'all to hit the share button. I didn't hit the share button myself. Okay. Hold on. Let me hit the share button. Because I'm sure it was a couple of people on the Book of Face that didn't know we was on here because they so used to seeing it on my regular page and not my business page. I'm sorry, folks, if y'all didn't make it today because I didn't click the share button and now the computer's going slow. There it is. Okay. And click this button. I always do it in the wrong order. And me. And share. Walking y'all through it just in case y'all don't know how to share stuff. You're going to click the share button. All right, y'all. So y'all ready? We're going to listen to Netflix. Headspace Guide to Meditation. We're going to listen to that today and listen to good old Andy tell us about what's going on in the world and how we could do better with ourselves. He don't say none of that. He does when you listen to the part before the part I'm about to play. But y'all know, the closer it gets to Friday, the sillier I get. So anyway, I'm going to click play. Okay, I'm going to leave y'all alone. I'm going to click play. All right, everybody ready? All right, here we go. When it comes on.
It takes a little bit of time and a little bit of practice sometimes. But right now, all you need to do is to begin with your eyes open. A nice soft focus, just aware of the space around you. And just maintaining that soft focus with the eyes, just taking a couple of big deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So as you breathe in through the nose, just a sense of the lungs expanding, the body filling with air. As you breathe out, just noticing how the muscles in the body begin to soften as you exhale. And just one more time, breathing in through the nose. And as you breathe out this time, just gently closing the eyes if you'd like to, and just allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm. And just take a moment before you do anything else, just to appreciate that feeling of having stopped, of having nowhere to go, nothing to do. Feeling the weight of the body pressing down into the seat or the floor below you. Perhaps noticing any sounds around you. And rather than resisting them, just allowing the sounds, the thoughts to come and go. And just use this opportunity as well, just to notice how the body feels. So whether the body feels heavy or light. And whether there's a sense of stillness or restlessness in the body right now. And as you begin to notice those different feelings, sensations in the body, just starting to notice the movement of the breath, that rising and falling sensation. So as always, begin in a very general way, just noticing where in the body you feel that movement. Whether it's in the chest, diaphragm, the stomach. Doesn't matter where you feel it. Don't need to breathe in any special way. But if you can't feel that movement at all, just gently placing your hand on your stomach. And we're just going to stay with that rising and falling sensation, just as the body and mind begin to settle. So remember, natural for the mind to wander. Just noticing the wandering and gently coming back to the breath. And you can use your breath throughout today's exercise as that place to come back to if the mind wanders off. Now, in having settled the mind a little, we're going to ask that question. Who or what do you appreciate most in your life right now? So ask yourself that question in the exact same way as though you're asking somebody else. And just notice what comes to the surface. Without any expectation, without any judgment, without any hurry, just allowing that feeling to emerge. Now, if no particular feeling comes up, that's fine, it's natural. Sometimes it takes a little bit of practice. If there's an obvious feeling, just allowing that feeling to remain. Just resting in that feeling of gratitude. If there was no clear feeling, just gently asking that same question again. And just creating that space. Again, we're not thinking about what comes to the mind. We're not judging it, analyzing it. We're just creating the space. And then if there is a feeling, just allowing ourselves to stay with that feeling of appreciation.
Okay, so I don't know why Andy cut off. I was like, wait a minute, it's been a little bit longer than it should have been. Hold on, let me see what's up. Alright, child, we're just going to cut off the Bluetooth altogether. How about that?
Again, we're not thinking about what comes to mind.
Sorry, y'all.
We're not judging it.
And wind it back a little bit.
It's fine. It's natural. Sometimes it takes a little bit of practice. If there's an obvious feeling, just allowing that feeling to remain. Just resting in that feeling of gratitude. If there was no clear feeling, just gently asking that same question again. And just creating that space. Again, we're not thinking about what comes to mind. We're not judging it, analysing it. We're just creating the space. And then if there is a feeling, just allowing ourselves to stay with that feeling of appreciation. And then allowing that feeling to remain, just beginning to bring the attention back into the body, back to that feeling of weight and contact. Back to any sounds around you. And whenever you feel ready, you can just gently open the eyes. Take a moment, notice how you feel in the body and in the mind. No.
Alright, y'all. I'm sorry that we ended up, I don't know what happened. I think my Bluetooth died on me. No, it's still on. It's blinking. I'm not sure what happened. But anyway, we're going to practice some grace. We're going to practice some grace. Y'all going to practice some grace for me. But anyway, how's everybody feeling? How are we feeling about gratitude this week? We feel like we empowered to move forward and practice some more gratitude. We've been reminded of some things we already knew, learned some new things. Understand that, you know, some other people going through some things we're going through. Okay. I hear y'all answering me. I hear you. But anyway, as always, my loves, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I am grateful for you guys coming on this platform. I'm grateful to have the platform. I'm grateful to be able to spread the word. And, you know, some of this, I'm not going to call it wisdom yet. I don't feel like I'm old enough to be wise yet. But, you know, spread some of the things that I've been working out for myself. And I hope it helps you guys. If you ever have any suggested topics that you want me to talk about, always feel free to leave them in the comments or send me a direct message. Don't forget, I tell y'all y'all gonna have me on somebody something saying this. I tell y'all every time to make sure you tell your brother, sister, mama, daddy, cousins, auntie, uncle, and them to come on here because we want to reach one, teach one. I need y'all to reach one so I can teach one. And then always make sure you find your accountability partner. I'm gonna hold you accountable for finding your accountability partner. So every episode, I'm gonna get on here and I'm gonna ask y'all to tag your accountability partner because I want to make sure that y'all are finding one so y'all can unpack some of this stuff. When we get to deep diving, I need y'all to be able to talk through it some more than just being on here for 30 minutes talking about it. So, all right, my loves, I will see you on Tuesday. I don't have a topic yet. It'll come to me over the next few days. I sometimes have one before the weekends, but generally speaking, I don't have one until right before we start. I'll try to let all of the vibes come in and tell me what we need to talk about. So anyway, my loves, I will see you next week. Don't forget to join us Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. for the TRIBEvibe meditation series. That's it. Oh, last thing, last housekeeping item. Make sure you go like, share, subscribe. Go visit blackAmethystNaturals.com to see our new stuff. We got some stuff going on for Juneteenth. We'll be doing a sale, so you can get on there now and see some of the stuff we're adding items. I'm adding items every day. So just keep an eyeball out. But Juneteenth, we're going to be having a sale. So I look forward to you guys getting on there and buying something. It'll be a site-wide % off. I'm not exactly sure exactly what it's going to look like, okay? Because I haven't made that decision on exactly what we're doing because I'm trying to move the shipping prices. I'm telling y'all too much information. Anyway, y'all know y'all family, so sometimes I get to tell y'all too much information. But we'll be having a sale Juneteenth, so look forward to that. Go look now and see what kind of goodies we have on there so you can be ready for the sale. So, all right, my loves, Have a good night. Have an exceptional weekend. Make sure you remember to practice your gratitude. Make sure you remember to find your accountability partner, because I'm going to be asking you again on Tuesday. And I'll see you Tuesday at 7 o'clock. All right. Love you guys. Bye.